Alan, can you talk a bit about the spending issue? What the governor is saying is not that you guys are sort of saying that he's acting capriciously, withholding promised money. What he's saying is there is no money. What would you have him do?
I would have him look at the revenue sources available in New York State and some of the programs that he's refused to look at for the last 16 months. And there are ways the state can, and had he really been talking about a delay we could have talked to him about, but he's talking about a delay which will turn into a cut, in his own words. So there really there were other ways to raise the funding in the state, to raise some of the revenues. You can't run a state without money. We agree with him. But he's not making any effort to get the money.
What about the argument that
a little bit about
what
can you talk a little bit about your legal argument and specifically what you rest on to say that you can't make these payments?
I would wait for our attorneys to get here for that personally.
Alan, in terms of the other revenue sources that you're saying that the state could tap, what types of revenue sources are you referring to?
Well, we've been talking about them a long time. We talked about group purchasing of prescription drugs, to bundle all the purchasing through one agency in the state. Within one county, there are 3 or 4 different entities that put those formularies together. We talk about revenue raising, which we did for 7 years about a progressive income tax. They did a little bit of it. The governor says everyone's moving out of the state. Other than Golisano, I don't know anybody who moved out of the state.
Is there anything schools can do to save money?
Yes, there's a lot they can do.
They can cut to spend less money?
We were willing to talk to him. This entire coalition was willing to talk to him about group purchasing of supplies and materials, using the BOCES in a stronger fashion, helping to raise funds for individual districts. There are the schools moving forward on the green initiatives in the schools would save a ton of money in the state, and that can be done. We don't have to wait for all the schools to be built. We could do that in the next
What about
few months.
cutting?
What about personnel costs?
Yeah.
We have been cut. The
Superintendent
schools have been
salaries?
cut. Schools have been cut. We lost about 6,000 positions this year. I don't know what number will make people happy who are looking for more cuts. You know, if you look, there are some groups that, as long as you're not cutting today, they're not happy. But
Well,
we
how
have
did you
faced
cut
cuts.
when the funding went up dramatically? Went up.
It didn't go up. It did not go up. The costs go up as well as the not the funding. The school districts, the average taxes this year were 1%, 2%. We all remember years when they were 9 and 10% in the property taxes.
What about the race to the top money? We've heard Bloomberg and the Education Commissioner last week both give you a list of things that need to be done to get this $700 million that the state could.
The state
receive.
might get that. You know, all their list entails are a couple of points on a 500-point scale. There are a lot of different ways that could happen. That's a whole different conference.
What do you think of the region's proposals that they put out?
I haven't read it yet. We have our staff is looking at it right now. There are people now, but I haven't read it.
But do you have an opinion on raising the cap on charter schools, for example?
There are ways of raising the cap and also raising some of the problems they're having with the charter schools. Yeah, anything is discussable. We haven't said no to anything. We've said we're willing to come to a table.
I would tell you we're very concerned about raising the cap to 400.
Yeah, that would be
you're basically creating a parallel public school system that is going to have tremendous costs and tremendous bureaucracy running parallel to the existing school system. And they're also even talking about one charter allowing for multiple schools. So it's not just 400 schools. It could be 800 schools. It could be 1,200 schools. That's an enormous competition against the public school systems that we have in place right now, and a huge drain on resources from those districts that need those monies most.
Alan, did I hear you right? You said it was ridiculous, the 400 number? 400
I think to raise it to 400 would be ridiculous. There are so many ways you could work things out without throwing buckshot out there.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.